Let's take a second to talk about the hands in Tai Chi. The fingers should be slightly open. There should be a natural curvature of the palm. The wrist should never be tense or locked, and it should never be dead or flaccid. So we want to have the energy flowing. Lao Gong open. That's one of the energetic gateways in the body. And so when I mean fingers are slightly open, they're not tense, and they're not tense open or tense close, and they're not just lazily open. So it should feel natural, and the wrist should be supple and relaxed. A lot of times when people do things like brush knee and things like that, the hands are really just straight palm like this, all right? But we want to have that, what we call a fair lady's wrist, right? Also, if you're doing Tai Chi, I don't know how good the color is on this, but after a while, your palm will either get pinkish or reddish. So it shouldn't just be all white. That means that your blood and your chi are flowing. And we want to let you know that the slower you go, the more you'll feel the energy in the palms, the more they'll start to have this reddish color. And so as you go slower and keeping the joints open and relaxed, then you'll see a difference in the color. You'll feel the energetic difference between the palms. So it's not as if the energy is going to be the same every time. It may for you, or it may not. It may change. So I always try to ask people what they feel without telling them what to feel. So if my hands are close here, right now it feels as if there's a sponge between my hands, pushing them apart. Sometimes it feels more magnetic, like two like poles pushing apart, and this is a response I get from people a lot of times. They have that feeling. Sometimes it may even feel magnetic where they're opposite poles and they're sucking in. You may feel the magnetic attraction between the palms. Or sometimes it may feel tingly, or just heat, intense, warmth. A lot of different sensations can occur in the palms when you practice Tai Chi. Just be aware of them. So don't try to focus on it. Don't try to make these things happen. Just go slow, breathe deep, keep the joints open and relaxed. And the more you move, then the more you'll see these changes and feel these changes, right? Increased the color of my palm. Again, I don't know how well, as I look at the camera, it really doesn't look the same as when I look at it straight on, but even that made it a deeper, darker color. So what does that mean? What does it mean when your palms have this reddish color? Well, of course, it means that the blood is flowing, and it means that you're getting a lot of oxygen and nutrients to the hands. But guys, gals, ladies and gents, it's not just the hands. That means that it's happening all over the body. It means that because your joints are open, you're breathing nice and deep, you're relaxed. It means that the circulation flows throughout the body freely and evenly. So it's nourishing the cells, it's keeping the joints loose and open. Very healthy for longevity, very healthy in terms of not only cardio function, cardiovascular, in terms of breathing and getting good oxygen flow to the cells. That means your blood's working good, but that means that your brain is also getting this supply of oxygen. It means that it's helping with your mental function as well as the physical ability. So the slower you do your forms, you get this feeling. The better it is all around, not just in the hands, right? The hands are just a showing, a representation of what's going on in the rest of the body. So when you're doing your forms, even if you're just learning a form, go nice and slow. I often talk about this, and one of the things that people tend to do is if I'm learning, say I'm doing the yang style, and I already know the first two movements, and by know, I mean I can do them. I haven't explored the depth of them, because remember, this is a lifelong journey. You can do one movement and explore the depth of that movement over a lifetime, learning your body more, learning the intricacies of it more. The movement will reveal itself to you, right? The energies involved in it. So never take one move for granted. But let's just say on the surface, I know this movement, right? Or maybe it's just a step out in this movement. And I'm starting to learn, I want to learn hold Tai Chi ball. And then I'm starting to get into that ward off left, right? So I may not know the ward off left yet, but I'm doing this movement, opening posture. So one thing that I noticed that people do, as I mentioned, I talk about this a lot, I've written about it, is in order to get to that move, they'll kind of rush through this movement. They'll be, okay, let's see. So first I step out here, I do this, and then, okay, now I think I shift, I want to turn the foot, so this leg's empty, and then they'll slow down when they get to the move that they're working on. So they're not getting the full benefit out of their practice. They're not getting the full benefit out of the previous move. They're actually cheating that movement, and they're cheating themselves from the benefits of it. So respect each movement, go through it slow, build the habits of going through it slow. Every time you do something, you're building a habit, whether you know it or not. It can be a habit that serves you or a habit that doesn't serve you at all. So as I'm doing this, every single time, I get more deeper, meaningful relationship with the movement, with my body, with myself. Don't rush through it. Always start at the beginning, go work your way up to the move you're working on. Unless you're just working on one movement, you already know a series of movements, but you just want to work on one movement or one or two movements, then an example would be if I'm in my ward off here, and I like to just roll back and then go back to the ward off, just expand back into that ward off, and turn, roll back again. Feeling the connection from the feet to the hands, feeling that the wrists are relaxed, expansion, thinking about the energies, just feeling the flow. So if you're doing that, yes, I can see just doing one or two movement without doing the whole set, without starting from the beginning. But if you're learning the form and you want to get to the next movement, so maybe you don't go all the way back to the beginning, but at least go maybe one or two moves previous to the move you're working on, and do those movements slowly, going into the flow of it. That's going to build a nice neurological connection from transitioning from the previous move into that next move in a smooth and relaxed manner. As I said, every time we do something, we're building habits. So make those habits serve you. Do the previous movement nice and slow, relaxing, and then into the next movement. Nice and relaxed. Good. Keep that flow, because if I'm always rushing through this movement, okay, I'll go here, and then I do this, that's what I'm practicing, that's what I'm building. And I don't have the right tempo to flow from that first movement into the next movement. So even when I do slow down, it's not gonna feel like what I've been doing, it's gonna feel like a new experience for me, because that's not what I've been practicing. So always in the beginning, going slow and smooth, releasing, relaxing, feeling each moment of the movement. So just giving you food for thought on the hands in Tai Chi. So in practice, keeping them open, relaxed, and keeping the wrist relax. Keeping the wrist, all the joints open, ankles, knees, hips, waist, everything open and flowing, even in stillness. So when I stand, I have the potential of any one of my joints to just be loose and move, standing without tension. So that was one of the things that Sifu Tony Wong talked about in the video where I interviewed him, was that when your joints are open, it's almost as if they're always moving anyway. So you don't have to overcome the inertia of going from still and then having to move or start movement. You're really already moving. You're moving not only internally, but you have the potential for movement. So I think that's one of the great things about Wu Ji that maybe people know, but maybe some people don't quite know, that Wu Ji is potential. So if I stand and I'm tense and I'm locked in place, then I have to release and overcome my tension in order before I can move. But if I stand in a good Wu Ji posture and all my joints are open and loose, now there's a freedom. Even though there's stillness, there's a freedom and potential for any type of movement. Okay, that's it for today, guys. I covered a little bit more than I wanted to, but sometimes you just gotta go with the flow, right? Hey, look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching.